Alright, so I wanted to talk about the state of the club. So here's basically the tier list. This is like these two rows here are who I'd keep. This is who I'd sell. There's like, slight differences here. These are the people who are already gone. This is just like a bunch of young players that we have that are technically under the first team, but really, like, we're not selling any of them. They're just, we're waiting for them to develop, and maybe in a few years, most of them probably won't make the first team, some will, so they deserve their own category. And at the top here, I just have my sort of transfer priorities. So before I start talking about that, and before the way this video will go is I'll talk about the sort of positions and how the club is structured right now in terms of positions, where we need players, where we lack players. I'll talk about the priorities of buying, and then I'll talk about who we keep, respective of the type of positions we want to buy. And if we sell this player, do we buy a player in this position, and so on. So if I just come here for a second, this is our current squad that we have as of the end of this season, basically, minus like the young players. Like you could put Shea Lacey as like left wing, right wing. You could put the Fletchers as like centre mids. I'm not going to include them because you just don't know next season who is going to develop how, if they're going to be part of the first team, and so on. But this is basically our first team and like the amount of depth that we have. So I haven't actually counted up. That's 8 plus 3, 11, 16, 17, 23 players, right? Yes, 23 players. So what stands out like instantly from the moment you look at this picture is here. I mean, I guess we could put Mount in this position, but then we only have 3 players to cover for 2 positions. So the whole season, we've sort of been playing kind of relying on Bruno. Bruno's played basically every game. In the first half of the season with Ruben, he was used as a centre mid, and really these guys were like left attacking mid, right attacking mid, rather than all out wingers. So obviously there's always going to be fluidity, but like right now under Carrick in a 4-2-3-1, which I don't think it might be the system that we play the whole season. Like we've got a lot of fluid players. We could switch up formations based on like a midweek game if we're playing a specific squad, and it depends on who we buy as well. But what I'm trying to say is, even though we only have Casemiro leaving from the midfield for sure this season, and he is the big first team player who's leaving, we need to buy 2 players at that level to replace him, which is not a surprise to any United fan. So that's why they are a priority, and then we've got left back as a priority because we have where is he? Malacia here, who's already gone. And also Dorgu is now playing more in the right wing, left wing position. Obviously he can play left back, but I think he's better utilized further up. So we definitely need a backup to Shaw, who played 38 games. Very surprising, of course. No one expected that. Let me mute my phone. Yeah, we're going to need a deeper bench when we're playing in more leagues. Licha could actually play left back. I think he's done it before, but we definitely need a player there. So who are we buying besides those 2 positions that are crucial? Well, other than those 2 priorities, a third, after those 3, I think another centre mid is absolutely crucial. And by the way, don't be too surprised by this goalkeeper. I'll quantify it in a bit. But centre mid, I hope we're able to sell. Ugarte is like a big urgency to sell because there's a player in there that we're not utilizing, that is not fitting our team, that is not fitting the Premier League. So we can get some money for him, and just him getting salary every week is a big waste. So he should be... Realistically, he should be in this category, maybe along with Xerxes, but those are really the 2 players that we should be pushing to sell. Like, obviously we want to get a good price for them, but those are like our priorities to sell. And then after we get those 2 out, we should be thinking about, in my opinion, these 4 players. So that's why centre mid is here. That's the conditions under which I would buy a centre mid. If we're not able to sell Ugarte, if we're not able to sell Mount, then we just make do with Ugarte and Mount. Right back. Again, if we're able to offload Dallo, if we're able to offload Mazraoui, which I haven't heard anything about Mazraoui, it's just like I don't think he is a top level player who will be in this club in 3 years' time, let's say, if we're challenging for titles and things go well for us. So that's why right back is on there. I think it's one of our weakest positions. Goalkeeper is a secondary goalkeeper. So if we sell Bayindir, then I'd rather see someone younger, because Senna, he's pretty much solidified his position in as the first goalkeeper. Rather than paying higher salaries for someone like Altay, I'd rather get money and maybe someone from the academy. I don't know if there is anyone, or alternatively, someone who can do a decent job in the position, who's like a 22 or 23-year-old, maybe from like a lower league, where we can sort of lower the salaries a bit. But this is like a luxury sell. I'm only putting him here because I don't want to say I want to keep Bayindir. He is like all right as a squad player, but I'd want our secondary option to be a bit stronger. Another big one that I should address before like you close the video, Heaton. Obviously, he's probably only got one more year in him. He's coming at he's at a real age. So the reason I have him here is same as Bruno, basically. Like, just keep him as long as we can keep him, because a lot of it is informed by that that Casemiro interview with Rio. But if he really is that type of player who is like, you know, completely selfless, just in the training, he's like, he loves United. You know, he's a great person to have around, a great leadership personality. I think he's in the leadership group for our squad. I think Casemiro said that. But yeah, obviously, like as a third option, low salary, you know, we won't get any money for him. No brainer to just keep him one more season. And if worse comes to worse, he can do a job, I guess. I don't know. Right. And then we come to centre-back, which is one of the other big discussions in our club right now about where we could improve. And I don't think so. Just because we've got so many other priorities. In an ideal world where we have unlimited money and we want to spend, then yeah, of course. But, and actually, give me a second here. Okay, I just wanted to add this quickly. Attacking players, again, they go into the sort of category of like, not really, like I'd rather spend money elsewhere. Who were there rumors for? I don't know, it's not coming to me. I don't remember who there were rumors for, but there were rumors for some player who was like, you know, on our list, and like, we wanted to buy him, and he was left wing. I don't remember. But maybe I should move it up here, because if we offload Zirkzee, then maybe we want to find a replacement for him. Because then we'd only have Šeško, who's a striker, and I mean, Mbeumo's been able to do a job there. That's the reason why I'm feeling like that attacking player is less of a priority, because, yeah, okay, let's forget about Zirkzee for a second. We still have Šeško, Mbeumo, Cunha, Amad, and Dorgu. So, like, Šeško. Mbeumo can step up here if Šeško's not available. And then we do have other players like Bruno. Well, if we have a deeper midfield, Bruno can come up and play a bit more aggressive even. I felt we had more depth here. Like, if you add a Shea Lacy, for example, who's going to be more developed by next year, you know, like, it's definitely a place where we can improve our squad. I just don't think it's a priority, but maybe it's dependent. If we get good money for Zirkzee, maybe, who knows? Maybe we settle with someone who's quite young and cheap. But definitely, so the order also goes from left to right. Like, okay, centre mid is our top priority. After the centre mid, we want to be getting a left back, then the second centre mid, and then, well, let's see, like this, I think, yeah. Okay, so let's just go through the players now, and I don't need to talk about why I want to keep Bruno. There's a reason why he's in the top left. Senna, I actually rate him quite very highly, as you can see. Maybe I'm just biased. I love his personality. Like, he's very eloquent when he gives interviews. He's like very calm. And definitely in 2-3 years time, I think 2-3 years time, he's a leadership personality in the squad. Cunha, great vibes, great player, great everything. Kobe, Sheshko, Ahmad. I'm just not gonna talk about them. They're obviously amazing. And Bumo, Heaven really impressed me. I hope he can be a starter next season. I hope he grows into the place where he's a starter next season. Dogu scoring today on the last game of the league of the Premier League. If you're not watching this today, Euro Heaton. Okay, keep, but see how the next season goes. So the reason why I have these players here is because there is some concern where, like, okay, I'm gonna give you one more season to, like, because I have doubts, and then either in the case of Maguire, probably see ya, because like your salary is very high. Next season, after we've had a good summer, hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully centre back is the position we reinforce, and that hopefully happens because we get some money for Maguire. And you can see he's alongside Lichuk, he's alongside De Ligt. Lich is here because of the injuries, mostly. He is great in terms of ball playing, he is very solid in terms of defending. He's lacking some aerial qualities, of course, but definitely as a first team player or occasional, like, you know, rotation with someone else, he is more than amazing. The issues I have are injury. The other issue I have is like him just doing stupid things, like, you know, stupid red cards, that sort of thing. De Ligt, big worries about the injury. Obviously, he's going to be having a surgery, back surgery, so that can go wrong 1,000 different ways. If he was just starting to come into form before he got injured. If he can come back, I give him sort of like 5 games or so to find that kind of form, and then you know, if he doesn't find the form, if he gets another injury, I'm probably just thinking about selling, because he had injury problems before he came to United, as far as I know. Luke Shaw. Did I talk about Luke Shaw? Not too much. So Luke Shaw's been amazing this season. I have a feeling that he'll be able to do the same kind of thing next season. I just had a look now. Take a guess how old Luke Shaw is. I bet you said something like 33, 34. Luke Shaw is 30 years old. So realistically, if his injury history is behind him, I think he is good enough to be a first team player. Like, obviously, if we buy a Lewis Hall, for example, Lewis Hall is super, super talented. So Luke Shaw would be playing second fiddle to him. But my point is that he is a first level caliber player. I mean, if you look at Arsenal, they've got so much depth in, like, you know, the left back, right back positions. They've literally got, I can't say them off the top of my head, but like 4 players who are like, you know, they can be starting games easily for top 4 Premier League sides. I think Luke Shaw is at that level of quality. And if injuries are no longer a problem by end of next season, then I probably renew his contract. And let me just check. Luke Shaw's contract does expire in 2027. So by end of the year, if he, well, you probably want to renew his contract by December, January. So I guess we don't even have the full year. But if he plays consistently over the next year, by December, I re-sign him. I offer him a new contract and I keep him. If he's happy to be playing second fiddle to a Lewis Hall or something like that. Which I think he will be, because like, we're going to be getting a lot of games in between Champions Leagues and in between FA Cups, League Cups. Hopefully we have a bit more success there this season or next season. That's how I feel about Luke Shaw. Purely injuries, I think he's very, very solid. Especially, the other point to consider with Luke Shaw is if you're not playing him 38 games, there's less wear on his body, and he's able to provide more in the games that he does play. And he has shown a very high ceiling in some games. He's been very solid. I don't get criticism about him. I think he hasn't made many mistakes. I think he's contributed offensively to some extent. He scored the 1 goal, but I don't mean that. I mean that, like, he will just go up the pitch and he will be like, you can bounce a ball off of him. And combine with him, like Cunha has all season. So that's those players. Then we have Mount, Mazraoui, Dalot, and Bayanda. So, Mount. Big part of my concern is injury. What I like about Mount is that he has the grit, he has the graft, he puts in a shift when he gets on. I think that if you he's a soldier. He will do what he's told, and he will play in whatever position you put him in. The argument for Mount, assuming there's no big injury problems, is that he is very fluid. So he can play a center attacking mid, he can play a center mid, he can play on the wings. Well, he'd be more inverted, like calling him a winger is not exactly correct, but he can play on the left side or the right side. Just very versatile, all-rounder, jack of all trades. I could see myself putting him here. There's a reason why he's the leftmost player in the sell only at a good price category, but I just think that if we're able to sell him and we're able to build more depth in the center midfield, then good. And for me, a good price for Mount is like 30 to 40 million, like 40 million probably. If someone offers us 40 million, then okay, let's sell him. But who would do that with the injuries he's had? So realistically, maybe he should be in this category because it's unrealistic to get that kind of price out of him. And if I just check quickly, Mount's contract is up in 2028. So I guess we would have next year to sell him if we wanted to. And he does have a club option of 1 year. So realistically, could drag it along to 2029. So at this point, if someone decides to offer us money, sure, but I just think we see what happens with his injury. So let me think here. Yeah, I just went over the other 4 players, and here I literally cannot see a universe where we sell them, because like even if someone offers us like 40 million for sure, I don't think we sell him. I think we keep him. I think he is worth the 40 million. With Mount, I cannot say the same thing. That's why they're in different categories. But Mount is very borderline. Mazraoui. I used basically for the whole season thought Mazraoui. I didn't understand how Dalot was getting all these minutes. I thought Mazraoui was a much better option. But over the last 5 games, I think Dalot has been better in my eyes than Mazraoui when Mazraoui's been on. But Mazraoui offers more versatility. Dalot is more of a leader. I'd sell both of them. If we can get good money for both of them, I sell both and I buy 2 new right backs. I don't think we are. Sorry, I got something in my chest. I don't think we're able to sell both of them. So that's kind of unrealistic. So realistically, probably I'd rather sell Dalot and get a right back. Dalot, leadership, personality, which is important. I think he has a great attitude. I think he puts in a great shift. I think he is more solid than Mazraoui defensively, although you can run past him very easily. Like, you can do much better than Dalot. But if we buy a first team right back, and Mazraoui I think can play second fiddle. Not as good of an option as Luke Shaw, but yeah, if we're able to sell both, I'd do it. Bayender, if we sell him, we just buy a goalkeeper. Pretty simple. I don't think there's anyone who's too in love with Bayender, given some of the early games last season. Now these players I actively want to offload. So let's just talk about the grayed out ones, because Sancho, he's going on a free. Rashford, the deal to Barca seems like it will be very likely. Hopefully we're able to get, I think it's like going to be 30 million out of that. Onana, I think I read that Trabzonspor want to keep him, so that'd be great. Rasmus Højlund is not on here. He's already gone to Napoli. And then the other players from last summer that we kicked out that are gone are Antony and Garnacho. And that's another point I wanted to make, actually. So if we count Antony, Garnacho, Rashford, and Sancho are 4 players who left the club, basically, and we bought in 3 players, 3 first-team players to replace them, we should be thinking about things on this level, where we want to be doing one-to-one replacements. If we're selling one player, we want to be replacing him. If we're selling both Mazraoui and Dalot, we want to be getting 2 players in. We want to retain that depth. We don't want to be selling 2 to buy 1, because with Champions League next season, depth is going to be a big important thing for us. So yeah, just a word on Rashford. I really respect him. I like him. I think he's a great player. The guy is just happier in Barcelona, and I'm very happy for him. I hope he finds success there. I hope he continues finding success. I hope that he will be used to his full potential over there. I'm genuinely happy for the lad. I have no ill will towards him. I could even see myself believing that Carrick could take the best out of him, or well, take the best out, bring the best out of him. I could see that happening. What I can't see happening is him staying on those salaries. Like, from a financial perspective, he cannot stay on those salaries. If he really wanted to be at United and he wanted to lower his salaries, I would keep him. Neither of those things are happening. He's happier in Barca. Honestly, best of luck to you, mate. Great respect for you. Okay, Ugarte. Yeah, it's just not worked out for him. I really liked him. I really wanted him to work out. I wanted to like him. I wanted to see the best in him. He is just too bad on the ball. I think defensively he puts in a shift. I think he does a lot. I do think his defensive qualities are underrated by a lot of fans, but I just don't think as a center midfielder with his ball playing ability, I don't think he has a place in the squad. Zirkzee, he has just shown nothing. Unfortunately, he's just shown nothing. There is nothing in that player that I see that I say, okay, there's a kernel there that can grow. There is nothing like that. Zirkzee is already 25 years old, so it's not like you can say that he's a young player who can develop. Like, it's not gonna go much further than this, I don't think, that we're seeing right now. So maybe the Premier League is just not right for him. Hey, Napoli, if you're listening, like, he can do a job for you. Honestly, I think if he goes to Italy, like, he can do a pretty decent job. I mean, he came from Italy, right? From Bologna. So I hope we're able to offload him. Right, let's just talk about Casemiro. Replacing him, right? What do we lose when we lose Casemiro? We lose 9 goals from corners. 9 goals, by the way, which from memory, they were mostly important goals. It wasn't like a 2-0 to 3-0 type of goal. They were pivotal goals, and we lose a leader, we lose a player who is able to position himself very intelligently to cover the defense, a player who can go and attack and create something with a pass. He can cut the lines, the defense lines. Just an amazing player. Are we going to replace Casemiro? Absolutely not. With the amount of quality he had, even in the best case scenario, if we bring in an Elliot Anderson is 22. He can grow into a Casemiro level player. Casemiro at his highest, the way he played in the second half of the season, maybe even in the first half, it's kind of vague right now, but it's going to be very hard to replace that. So temper your expectations. That's why I really want us to buy 3 centre midfielders, because if we buy 3 and one of them doesn't work out, then we've got 2 others. Realistically, transfers are a gamble. The more widely we gamble, the better. I wouldn't want us to say, well, instead of buying, let's say that we've sold Ugarte, right? And we want to buy, and we have the money for 3 centre mids. I don't want them to say, okay, we've bought Ederson. Let's, instead of buying 2 centre mids, let's just spend a whole bunch of money on Elliot Anderson. I don't want that to happen. Elliot Anderson is an amazing player, but he is not a good financial decision to buy, in my opinion. For me, what looks like a good transfer window is like Matheus Nunes, Alex Scott, and then Ederson on a cheap price. So Ederson is our tertiary, and then we buy 2 more. It looks like Ederson's going to be the first one we buy, so then maybe they're confident that they can sell Ugarte. That's what it looks like right now. And then, like, yeah, I just threw out some names. I'm not married to those names. I'm happy to go different ways. Malacia, unfortunate injuries, never really made any contributions to the club. And yeah, we're basically buying a left back to essentially replace him. I mean, he's coming in, he's played, so clearly there's a need for that position for a player on the bench. So those are my thoughts. I basically covered everyone. I'm not going to go through the younguns. I don't really have a well-formed opinion of them. I'm very hopeful about Shea Lacey. I think that's Shea Lacey. The others, just wait and see. I'm curious to see if someone like JJ Gabriel is going to come into the squad next season. He's going to be 17. No, actually, he's going to be 16 in October. So very, very young. But Rooney came through at 16, so I've heard a lot of good things about JJ Gabriel. I watched that under-18s final against City. There were some players that impressed there. I thought they played pretty well, so hopefully we see more players breaking through. Hopefully we see the Fletchers making more of an impact, getting more minutes. So those are my thoughts. I just wanted to give a brief overview of the team, and I'm waffling now, so I'll end it. Bye!